think you and I at least watched there's a new documentary from 2020 on Netflix about the demise of the Blockbuster franchise.
Yeah.
There's one Blockbuster store left in Oregon, so kind of centered around that store. Still in business to this day.
Yep.
Looks like what you remember a video store being. It looks terrific. And, kind of the bad business decisions that Blockbuster made and just the lack of capital to ultimately compete with Netflix. They had the chance to purchase Netflix for like $50 million.
They laughed at them.
They laughed at them, and so you get out of here, and Netflix is now worth like $350 billion.
Netflix literally made a documentary about how Blockbuster.
Well,
there's one left.
Netflix didn't
just in the description. It just says "fuck you."
Yeah.
Netflix, I don't think actually made it, but they sort of purchased the rights to it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought it was. I was thinking it was an original. Yeah.
Happily.
Yeah, and it was interesting because at the time, Blockbuster knew they had to compete and do something different, so they brought some guy in that had this knowledge. I can't think of his name, but there was a time.
Is that the guy they were talking about? There was the guy that invented the cheesy gordita crunch for Taco Bell. Was that guy?
Yes.
I want to kiss that guy on the mouth.
That's right.
Hold on, wait, what?
Isn't that interesting? Is that
the guy who invented the cheesy gordita crunch is the same guy who did what?
The guy that brought the cheesy gordita crunch to Taco Bell to they needed some new ideas for things. This is a guy that Blockbuster hired to revamp some of their, to compete with things like, on-demand movies. There was a Blockbuster on-demand service. They had a DVD by mail service, things like that. Wasn't it that guy, Brian? There was a few names in there, but I think it was that guy they were talking about.
Yeah, I think that's right. So you're right. So Blockbuster was doing competing things with Netflix to, like Nick said, so you can get the DVDs mailed to you at home at the time and do different things. They were setting other things up to, and at the time, Netflix had more capital and Blockbuster did not, so they couldn't quite take it to that next level.
Right.
And they just couldn't do it. So Netflix did it, and obviously,
sure.
The rest is history. So, but it all come back and made me reflect. And so the video store experience. And I hung in there with video stores for many, many years, even though streaming was becoming more popular. We had a local video time store in my area, and there's still some lingering family video chain stores around the area.
Family video just went down.
So they're all out of business now. Okay.
Yeah, I just went and got a shit ton of their movies that went into the whole liquidation stuff.
Okay.
I got a whole bunch of them.
Do you miss, from your age perspectives, do you miss the video store experience? Why is that?
As a teenager, like Friday nights, going to the video store, of course you had those moments where you run up to and you see the video the DVD or whatever that you want, and there's not one behind it, so it was not a plastic case behind it. It meant you couldn't get it. But yeah, that was such a great time. Because that's followed up by like pizzas or Taco Bell or
right.
Yeah, we always we had it was at the Coventry Plaza. We had a Blockbuster video. It was right next to a pizza shop. It was perfect. It was the perfect setup.
Yep.
Go get a pizza from a Guild Pizza is what it was called, and then you had the Blockbuster next door.
That Guild was good pizza.
Right. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
But God, yeah, man, I loved even before Blockbuster got big. We had one in town in Barberton called Roadrunner Video. Roadrunner used to go there. You can rent video games. I used to rent Sega Genesis games there and stuff like that.
The porn section in the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they talk about that on Blockbuster too, how they didn't have the adult section and stuff like that. They were trying to market the whole family-friendly experience and all that stuff. But God, yeah, and then, Brian, you watched it as well, but they even talk about the way they all smelled. They all had that, you could just see so vividly that blue carpet in a Blockbuster and the TVs on the wall.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, man, I missed that like crazy. And I'm watching it, with Robin, and I'm like, man, I miss this. And she was like, why? I don't know. It's just the nostalgia.
It's the experience of it.
It's the same thing as I can find whatever I want. Exactly. There's things that I want, and I can find them on Amazon for cheap. But it's fun to go to the mall and find something. I don't know. It is the whole experience of it. But yeah, man. I really enjoyed the documentary. Definitely missed that whole vibe and going and picking out candy, and even hell, I used to just peruse the aisles and without a certain movie in mind.
Sure.
I would just be like, this looks interesting. Oh, here's a thing with Matthew Perry in it that's an indie film that I've never seen. I'm going to rent that.
Nick,
I don't know, whatever.
And then Nick is because of your interest as a teenager or a youth, the internet wasn't readily available, and there was no streaming or downloads. So you could go and like rent any WrestleMania. Like they had the section
for
wrestling, so you could go and get any SummerSlam or WrestleMania, and they had a whole big section of it. So as a teenager, you had that option too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And then, they started renting video games and stuff like that. That was cool. You used to be able to rent consoles, like the actual systems, for a little bit. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. And like the one they even touch on that too. They're like, it's so crazy to think that we used to like rent stuff, and if it was a new release, it was like, this one has to be back in like 48 hours. But this one's due back next Tuesday. And you had to like, you constantly be making trips back to the store because, I got to watch this one because it's due back in 2 days. And then, I don't know, it's just it's the nostalgia. Brilliant.
I mean, because you're back at the store. I mean, you're going inside. So
yeah. You're making multiple
since
trips,
I'm here, maybe that one video that wasn't there might be here. So since I'm here.
Yeah. I miss just leaving for something. And then like when I started driving, like my mom or dad being like, hey, if you're going out, will you run this back to Blockbuster to the Dropbox? You just drop it in because it's due back tonight or tomorrow or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. If you say this to somebody who didn't grow up with it, they're going to be like, that sounds terrible. Why would you want to do that? I can sit at home right now and find whatever. I know it doesn't make sense. It's just you had to be there. It just was.
It's like explaining them a library.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's still libraries now, but that's just where homeless people like poop.
In the kids section of libraries.
So you have been to Barberton's library.
But you're right. It's a whole human interaction thing. The ability to pick up a movie, look at it, read about it, all that stuff was great. I mean, on streaming, they're trying to at least separate it by, I want to look at random horror movies, and they do mix it up. It is kind of a pseudo video store in that respect. You can read about them. So they're trying, I guess.
Yeah.
But
and one thing I do appreciate about streaming is like, I like the tabs of, because you watched this movie.
Yes.
Here's a bunch of things that we think are similar. And like, that's interesting. That's the algorithm that is specific to apparently a taste that you have. So yeah, that is cool. I mean, I get it. But yeah, dude, I definitely miss like going into a Blockbuster and renting a movie, and that whole thing is, I think everybody gets a little nostalgic about their past. We gush over our, adolescence all the time here and things that we grew up loving. I mean, I think that's what it is. You romanticize the things that you grew up with. If you enjoyed parts
like your uncle's touch,
things like that. Exactly. Nothing beats it.
Nope.
Or nothing beats me like it. Whatever. Anyway.
Ooh, well.
No, but the nostalgia of it, and it's when you reflect positively back on your childhood, it's definitely something you miss that you don't have anymore.
Yeah, I like the one guy in that documentary. He's probably around my age, around 50. He looked like, and it was just his routine. He lives within walking distance of that local Best Buy.
Yep.
He
Blockbuster
plans for Blockbuster. I said Best Buy. Blockbuster. Thank you.
Same color scheme, very similar.
Right.
Actually, very similar.
That's true.
The ticket, yeah.
But he walks down the street. The staff, they know him. He talks to them about. He gets recommendations. He rents the stuff. As the I don't know, this all that I think is
he's like the norm of Blockbusters.
Yeah. So it's like that. What's that guy going to do without that experience? I don't know. So anyway, so we'll
now.
But they're not going to come back though. I mean, there's nothing they can do.
No.
That model is just not going to work anymore in this day and age. It's too, let alone the pandemic. But it just people's not going to put forth that effort anymore to go out to people. It's just not as convenient to sit home and not interact and just order what you want. So anyway, go ahead.
And even, we were, you can get nostalgic all you want, and they even talked about it there. There's a kind of a mini little, people rally around that Blockbuster and things like that, and people, want there might be a desire to get that back, but like you said, it's just I think in my opinion, that is too big of a hill to climb. You're not gonna, like you said, beat the convenience of a Netflix or something. But one last final thought on that documentary, and if anyone else has seen it, and Brian, you've seen it, I'll ask you the question. The woman that they spotlight that manages that final blockbuster, are you in my thinking of that, God, I hope that woman makes a good amount of money for all the shit that she does. Little background, Dean. This woman that manages this last blockbuster, so they used to have a contract with Dish Network, so when Dish went out, they bought all of their obsolete computers and used them for parts. So literally, the computer in the store that they use to rent out movies in the database, she strips parts off of these computers by herself. She's got all these dusty parts. She's fixed. She's the IT department. She runs the store. Her entire family has worked for the store. She goes out and buys the candy to restock. She goes and buys the new movies from Target and Walmart to keep on the shelves. I'm like, I hope this woman makes a lot of money. Like, I hope whoever owns this blockbuster takes good care of her, because
now this
woman does everything.
Is the corporation, franchise, whatever, of Blockbuster, are they still in business? Or is she just using the word Blockbuster, the name Blockbuster? Or
no, their contract was renewed. Right. They're like on a year-by-year basis. So the corporation of
Blockbuster still exists?
I guess whoever owns it, whoever owns the rights to Blockbuster, so far, up to this point, has year by year continually extended their contract with that store, because she talks about what happens if they go under, and some people were, there was some famous people in or some semi-famous, probably Kevin Smith is the most famous, I would say, person they interview for this documentary, but, some of them were saying, man, if I were her, I would keep going, and I'd just call it Video Store and keep the same blue and yellow and keep the same ticket stub thing, and just replace, take the name off if you have to, and whatever, just make it still that same vibe, and keep going with that.
Just change the O to an I, like Blickbuster.
Right. That's Yeah. It's a good idea.
All right. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so last clip here. So I have a Jeopardy answer for you. Dr. Oz.
Who is a quack?
That could be correct.
Okay.
Nick, do you have a guess?
Who is the most popular Jeopardy host of all time?
Incorrect.
Sorry. You've lost all that money.
You're close. Seems to be probably the least popular current Jeopardy host of all time.
Damn it.
Dr. Oz. Yeah.
Damn it.
I just had fun reading some clips about people hating, that. Yeah, we don't need Dr. Oz hosting Jeopardy. Just get rid of that, in my opinion. So keep moving. Okay, that's what I got here, guys. So we've go ahead. Any final thoughts? Anything?
I just real quick, and I don't even know if this is were you guys fans of the TV show Scrubs?
Yeah.
Until it got crazy, last season.
Well, everybody that you knew was gone.
You don't even count that season. But they're going to be on Family Feud.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because the Zach Braff and Donald Faison have a podcast.
I like that.
And their podcast is going to go up against Neil Flynn, the janitor, and his improv group.
Excellent.
Oh,
so
cool.
That's going to be this summer. So
nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
It just popped in my head. So
awesome. Excellent. Okay. Nick, do you have any other final interesting topics or anything for you, sir?
Nah, dog.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here, guys. Then we've talked for quite a while here. Some good stuff, good topics, good conversation again. So
that's debatable, but
yeah,
we'll let the fans decide.
That's right.
We were interested in it.
We'll let Matt decide.
Yeah. Well, Matt, what do you think?
We get 2 likes. One of them is Matt. Nick, do you want to remind the folks where we can be found out there?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook or YouTube by searching for Convincing Idiots, or you can go to Twitter and follow @ConvincingIdiot. I shouldn't say and also go to Twitter and follow @ConvincingIdiot. Also, be sure to go to Instagram. That is @convincing_idiots. We are also on TikTok @ConvincingIdiots, or we can be reached via email at convincingidiots@gmail.com. Also, feel free to ask your home assistant device to play the Convincing Idiots podcast, and they will do so as We are found wherever you enjoy your podcasts. So, for another episode of Convincing Idiots, cordially, I am Nick.
I'm Brian.
And I'm the Dean.
Sorry.
Have we convinced you to revitalize the home video rental industry with us? Oh. Maybe. Cheers. Be kind, rewind.
Okay.